Saya buka kepada media untuk sebarang soalan.
Assalamualaikum YB. Semalam dalam kenyataan Tan Sri ada memaklumkan 25 kes positif di Parlimen pada hari Isnin dan kemungkinan besar adalah varian Delta. Dan difahamkan hari ini ada lagi kes positif di Parlimen. Jadi ada tak keperluan untuk menggantungkan sementara Parlimen ini? Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Pertanyaan berkenaan dengan kes-kes jangkitan di Parlimen seperti mana yang telah diumumkan dalam kenyataan Tan Sri KPK semalam. Ada juga berkaitan dengan spekulasi hari ini, contoh saya akan umumkan PKP. Ya. Sekarang ini kita sudah ada kerangka bagaimana kita dapat menangani kes-kes positif yang wujud ataupun kluster yang wujud. Di mana sekarang ini kita sudah ada bukan hanya kerangka tetapi kita sudah ada pengalaman. Dan langkah-langkah seperti menutup parlimen dan sebagainya menjadi langkah yang terakhir. Kalau sekiranya kita dapat buat ujian dengan kerap, sebagai contoh di parlimen kita buat setiap 2 hari. Kita dapat kesan kes dengan cepat. Kita dapat asingkan mereka daripada yang lain yang berada di parlimen. Maka tiada keperluan untuk kita disrupt ataupun kita menutup perjalanan parlimen. Sebab ini pengalaman daripada dulu. So kita dah ada pengalaman, kita dah ada kerangka, kita dah ada national testing strategy, kita dah ada vaksinasi dan kita dah ada strategi trace untuk kita asingkan mereka. Jadi dengan semua strategi ini kita harap bahawa bila berlaku penularan kes, kita tidak perlu untuk melaksanakan tindakan yang terlalu drastik seperti PKP, lockdown, tutup parlimen dan sebagainya. Ya.
YB and Tan Sri, based on yesterday's DG statement, I want to ask that you said the increasing social activities allowed has shown that the SOP has been laxed by the public. So will there be considerations by KKM to stricten or impose more guidelines on lessen the social activities from crowds?
Seperti mana yang saya telah umumkan sebelum ini, Kementerian Kesihatan sedang memuktamadkan satu sistem heightened alert dan sebenarnya kita hampir siap sistem heightened alert. Dan dalam sistem tersebut, bila kita umumkan nanti, terletak beberapa nilai ambang. Bila nilai ambang itu dibolosi ataupun dilepas nilai ambang tersebut, maka ada beberapa sekatan. Tapi saya akan umum waktu saya umumkan heightened alert level nanti.
Xin BFM.
Hi YB, Xin from BFM here. I've got 2 questions, one on the national testing strategy with Omicron and also the booster dose. First one is, will the national testing strategy hold up as part of procedures to combat Omicron? And how will you roll it out in light of the developments and the pause on the transition to endemic phase? Will there be any changes to the NTS or how it's rolled out? And second question is
one question at a time.
Sure.
The national testing strategy is a living document and it will be amended from time to time. So for instance, the immediate amendment to the national testing strategy that I have announced today is the additional requirement of day 3 and day 7 testing for those who have come in via the vaccinated travel lane. But for it to be done on a self-administered basis using the rapid antigen test kit. So we will continue to update the national testing strategy from time to time as we discover more about the variant of concern.
Right. Next question on booster dose take-up rates. How has it been from KKM's point of view? Has it been good or not so good? And maybe if you can explain a bit to the general public if how important it is to take this. Thank you.
Ya, terima kasih. Buat setakat ini kita telah memberi 2 457,510 dos penggalak. Dan walaupun pada asalnya kehadiran temujanji dos penggalak adalah tidak berapa memberangsangkan, ada absentee rate dalam 40%. Setelah kita memperkenalkan backup list ataupun list menunggu, absentee rate adalah sangat-sangat kurang dan hampir memenuhi kapasiti setiap hari. Dan ini adalah satu perkembangan yang baik. Namun demikian, kita dapati bahawa ada segelintir terutamanya warga emas yang telah menerima vaksin Sinovac sebagai vaksin asal mereka yang tidak hadir untuk temujanji dos penggalak mereka. Jadi saya ingin maklum kepada kumpulan tersebut, terutamanya warga emas yang telah menerima vaksin Sinovac sebagai vaksin asal, kumpulan inilah yang paling berisiko tinggi sekiranya tidak menerima dos penggalak. Jadi Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia menasihati warga emas yang telah menerima dos asal daripada Sinovac untuk cepat dan pantas hadir ke temujanji untuk menerima dos penggalak. Lebih-lebih lagi dengan perkembangan terkini, iaitu dengan kewujudan varian Omicron yang jelas tahap kebolehjangkitannya adalah lebih tinggi daripada varian Delta, walaupun masih lagi tidak berada di Malaysia, tetapi langkah pencegahan perlu dibuat untuk semua warga emas menerima booster mereka, terutamanya mereka yang telah terima Sinovac, disebabkan tempoh masa Sinovac menurun dari segi respon imuniti dia adalah lagi cepat daripada Pfizer.
Assalamualaikum YB, saya Nurul dari Bersama TV. Semalam laporan berita harian CEO Moderna berkata vaksin sedia ada mungkin tak mampu berkesan dan lawan Omicron. Dan sekarang Moderna dan Pfizer pun tengah dalam bangunkan vaksin khusus untuk Omicron. Jadi my question is, adakah Malaysia akan purchase vaksin khas untuk Omicron nanti? Thank you.
Buat masa ini terlalu awal untuk kita buat apa-apa rumusan. Syarikat-syarikat vaksin pun mereka tak berapa tahu tentang keberkesanan vaksin mereka terhadap Omicron. Kalau nanti didapati bahawa vaksin yang sedia ada sangat-sangat tidak berkesan terhadap varian baru, maka Kementerian Kesihatan akan buat keputusan kelak. Tetapi buat masa ini, strategi kita adalah untuk menggunakan vaksin yang sedia ada. Dan untuk menggunakan vaksin yang sedia ada, yang telah diluluskan penggunaannya oleh NPRA dan juga CITF untuk diberikan sebagai booster dose. It's better to use what you have and of course to wait for additional data on the effectiveness of the existing vaccines against the new variant of concern.
Next, Code Blue, Alifa. Code Blue, Alifa.
Assalamualaikum, Tan Sri, Alifa here from Code Blue. I have two questions. I will ask one by one. Firstly, on the travel restrictions, will the government put the UK, Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, and Australia on the high-risk travel ban list as well, since Scotland believes there's community transmission of Omicron? The four countries also found Omicron in previous COVID cases before South Africa alerted the world about Omicron. So your comment on that first?
Yeah, thank you. Those countries are being reviewed now, and once we have more information on the status of the cases in those countries that you mentioned, and after having done risk assessment, we will decide whether or not those countries will be included in the list. But I can inform you that those countries that you mentioned are being reviewed right now.
All right. Secondly, YB, will CITF shorten intervals for all boosters to 3 months from 6 months, like what the UK is doing right now? And will CITF also change its recommendation to Pfizer as the main booster choice for AstraZeneca vaccine recipients instead of the current AZ default as per the UK JCVI recommendation?
So the interval for the booster is maintained at 6 months for now. Apart from certain cases, Sinovac is 3 months, and also for those who are immunocompromised, there will be an announcement next week for those who are immunocompromised as to the new interval for them. For the general public, it is still at 6 months. However, we will continue to review. Most countries have still retained the 6 months, but we are aware that some countries have shortened it. Some countries have shortened it due to the winter season that they are facing, which of course we don't have in Malaysia, but we will continue to monitor the situation, and should the situation necessitate a shorter interval period, we will make that announcement in time to come. The technical working group has recommended Pfizer as the preferred booster vaccine for all primary series unless contraindicated. Real-world effectiveness from few countries have shown Pfizer vaccine conferred very high protection against COVID-19 infection, hospitalization, and death. And emerging data has shown Pfizer as a booster vaccine with a good and favorable safety profile. But we also maintain that AstraZeneca is a suitable alternative to Pfizer as a booster dose for both homologous as well as heterologous. And also it's based on vaccine availability. We would urge the public, when you go for your appointment, whatever vaccine is available for the booster dose, please take that vaccine.
Next, Reuters, Rosanna Latif.
Hi, YB, Rosanna here. Just one question. Do you expect any delays in the intake of foreign workers in palm oils and other sectors? Thank you.
At the moment, we do not, but again, the situation is dynamic. We do not know how other countries will respond to Omicron, whether it will result in the more tightening of borders around the region, especially those where foreign workers come from. And we also don't know at the moment whether there will be there's the presence of Omicron in these countries. So it's too early to say whether these new developments will affect the supply of foreign workers into Malaysia. Again, it is something that we are continuing to monitor as we learn more about the variant of concern.
Can you hear me? Hello. What are the studies being made or findings by the IMR on Omicron? That's it. Thank you so much.
So IMR is continuing to receive data from other countries. One good thing is that we know the genomic sequence of Omicron because it has been shared widely. So with the genomic sequence, we will be able to detect Omicron. And we are also looking at how to quickly detect Omicron via the RT-PCR test, not requiring the whole genomic sequencing. So that will allow us to deliver better diagnostics as far as Omicron is concerned. So I think one thing that I would like to stress is this, that even though we have put a travel restriction on people coming in from South Africa, this is a temporary measure. And the moment that we feel that it is safe, we will lift these measures. And this is by no means a measure that we have taken to punish these countries. Rather, it is more precautionary as far as Malaysia is concerned. We congratulate and we thank the South African scientists who detected Omicron, first to detect Omicron, to sequence it, and to share it with the world. And I think that speaks volumes in terms of South Africa's response, a professional response, scientific response to this. And subsequently now, we've discovered that other countries actually detected Omicron much earlier, but didn't inform the world. So I think this speaks volumes about South Africa's approach. So the reassurance is that this is hopefully temporary, and that we can review this when we have better information. Okay? All right. Terima kasih.